Hello everybody! Welcome to The Joy of Trucking, where we talk all things trucking based on our experience, and also you can come along as an armchair traveler with us. And this morning, before we get started talking about the steps to take to become an actual trucker, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to our channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 so that we can start doing lives for you. But first, let's talk to Kevin on the steps to take to become a truck driver. Go ahead, take it away.
Thank you, Tanya. Hi, Kevin here, solo driver for Werner Enterprises. I would like to relate my experience and how I became a trucker. First, I had a crappy job, didn't like it, wanted more money. That's the first step. Second, be sure you understand what the lifestyle is like, and watch the YouTube videos, talk to truck drivers, think about the time you're going to spend away from home, the long days. Even if you're a local driver, it's still a long day. So make sure you can handle that, and your family can handle that.
And
right?
A lot of hours of sitting. Make sure your body can handle that.
Yeah. Number two.
You can't read your handwriting?
Nope. Oh, yeah. Get off the drugs. Okay, you're gonna get drug tested a lot. Don't smoke weed. Don't drink excessively. Don't do crack and cocaine and all that stuff. They don't want people like that driving these 80,000-pound machines, rolling over people and all that stuff. Like, get clean.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Even CBD oil. It's good for certain things. It's medicinal and all that, but it gets into your system, it'll show up. Okay.
Yeah.
You won't pass the test.
Yeah.
All right, number three, research schools and companies. You want to look, because a lot of companies have their own schools. A lot of companies will reimburse you your tuition. So look at different companies and look at what kind of education you're going to get. We've seen schools that were 2 weeks. We've seen schools that were 9, 10, 11 weeks, college programs and all this stuff. Look at what the curriculum involves. Look at what you're getting for your money and how much money you're going to spend. And like I said, a lot of the companies have their own schools, so they kind of roll in the tuition into your contract when you sign up and work for them, and you're obligated to stay with them for a year or two until they get their money back. And if you leave early, you owe them. And so there's a lot of ins and outs. The school we chose, because we didn't want to be obligated to a company, we chose a school that we could afford, or I could afford on our budget, but covered as much as we wanted to. A lot of schools, you spend a majority of the time practicing maneuvers in the truck, but if it's a well-attended school with not many instructors or trucks, you spend a lot of time waiting for a turn, and you go out on the road to practice maneuvers, and you're sitting there watching 3 other guys take a turn at the wheel. And some schools, there are a few where it's one-on-one with the instructor
in the truck,
and it's well worth it. You do get a lot of experience.
Yeah.
I was really worried at the end of 4 weeks of school that I wouldn't even be able to pass the test because I didn't think I had enough road time, and I had to keep going back and bugging and reminding and trying to get more. So look at the school, look what you're getting for the money.
Next step,
you would go and write your learner's permit. It's a written test, okay, the commercial learner's permit, and it may be part of your school. It may be rolled into that where you take a few classes and then they tell you to go down to DMV and write the test, and they pay for it in some cases. So that's another thing to look at with schools. A lot of stuff they pay for, the drug test, the learner's permit exam. A lot of schools do the practical test at the end of the course where their instructors are state certified to give the test. So you're doing the test with a guy who is your teacher in a truck that you learned on. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the learner's permit is the next step, and it may be part of your course, or maybe you want to do it on your own. My experience, it was in the first week of my school. And the first week of my school was all classroom. There are computer-based training lessons. There's an instructor present that you can talk to and get help from. And there was a lot of drug testing, and there was doing the written test. The next 3 weeks of the school was out in the yard doing maneuvers, backing, and driving out on the street, on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So the next step after that is your CDL test. And like I said, you might be at a school where you're tested by somebody who's already at the school. That saves you a lot of money. It gives you a lot of advantages. Some people want to do everything on their own. They'll go write the test. They'll practice on a truck with a friend or somebody. You can rent a truck and go out and do your exam and so on.
Yeah, so decide which way you want to
Yeah,
do it or what works
there's a lot
in
of
your
different,
life.
There's a lot of different factors there. I did the test at my school.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you want to say the name of your school if you're in the
Sure, it was
Southwest?
Phoenix Truck Driving Institute. We were driving Volvos
stick shift?
with manual transmission and 9-speed transmission. So we got to learn about clutches and RPMs and when to shift and how to control the truck in those situations. Now that I'm a company driver, though, with Werner, all our trucks are automatic. But yeah, I did want that experience. It's another thing to look at when you're looking at schools, whether you're going to have a manual or automatic transmission or even the option.
Yeah.
Right.
And we did see a lot of people struggle with learning how to do the truck driving simply because they had no experience with the manual. So you really want to think about, do you want to take on both those things, or do you just want to go to a school that just has automatics? Because that's mostly what you'll find in the industry. So that's another decision that's pretty important to make, sure. I think. Okay, next step.
Next step. Also, when you do your CDL test, I wrote all my endorsement tests.
Why did you do that, Kevin?
Because it just opens a lot more doors for you later on. Maybe you're going to join a company that hauls hazardous materials. Maybe you're going to want to get into tankers. Maybe you're going to want to pull double trailers. But all those things add up to more money on your paycheck. And if you do it then, when you're already there at the DMV and you're getting your paperwork done for your CDL and all that stuff, it's done. It's out of the way. A lot of guys say, "Oh, I'll do it later," maybe in a couple of months, or in a couple of months turns into a few years. You never make the time or get the opportunity to go back and do it. It means you got to start studying again for it. Just do it right away and it's done. It's out of the way. It's on your license.
Yes.
For good after that.
Good.
So next thing is go to work. So have you chosen a company you want to work for, or maybe you're going to go with your brother who owns 3 trucks and he'll put you in one of them? Or maybe you're going to go just take your time and go out and find a company now that you've got your CDL. We did a lot of research before I even went to school, and we took a few tours of different companies to see what their terminals are like and look at their trucks and look at the philosophy of the company and what they do for their drivers.
Yeah.
Before we decided on Werner.
Yeah.
And once I joined the company, there was a 5-day orientation.
Oh, hold on one sec before we get there. When you're choosing your company too, you want to choose the type of trucking that you're going to start with, right? So for example, if you want to go and be a flatbedder, then you need to be sure you're finding a company that offers you, training as a new driver. And there are definitely flatbedding companies that'll do that in their program, but be sure that you understand, what it is you want to do. Reefers, you want to do dry-van. That will also inform what company you go with.
Do you
so
want to
look
go
into that in your research.
48 states? Do you want to go local, regional?
Yeah. So those are questions to consider. And we could do another video on the types of questions to think about. But
Choosing
now we're
a
back to the steps.
So
What's the next step?
I started with this company. There was a 5-day orientation with a lot of computer-based training, again, like in school. There was also some yard maneuvers, backing into an actual parking spot, which we didn't cover in school. It was just straight back, angle, offset, and parallel parking. So backing a trailer into an actual parking spot is another maneuver you're going to learn with orientation. And
more drug tests. There were more drug tests.
Yep. So
and the physical with the doctor.
Get off the sauce, man. Like, really clean up, or you're not going to make it.
Yep.
Sooner or later, it's gonna catch up with you. And once you're driving, it's not over. You can be randomly tested at any time. If you're in an accident, you will be tested. So don't even take the chance. You party all weekend, go to work Monday, and boom, you bump into something, and next thing they're taking a sample, and you're done.
Yeah.
That's it. It's all for nothing.
Yeah.
So after the orientation, 4 or 5 days of that.
Depends on the company.
You're gonna go.
Yeah.
I was hooked up with a leader who's basically an experienced driver that you travel with for 21 days.
Minimum.
Some guys wait a week or two for a leader to become available. They want to match somebody with your habits, like smokers and non-smokers and so on. I only waited 2 days, and then I got on the truck with a leader, and we were gone 21 days. In those 21 days, I drove the first 5 days. The leader was observing, and the next few days we were team driving, but I wouldn't drive past 11 o'clock at night. And then after those days, the rest of the time we were team driving night and day. And I did a lot of miles. I was really surprised at how far I could drive in a day, and how far we could go as a team. And saw a lot of country. We went to a lot of places and learned a lot of stuff. Got right into the backing maneuvers, because that's something you're going to do every day. Every truck stop you pull into, every terminal, every distribution center, every drop and hook, you're going to back that truck up.
Yep.
So that's where you're getting a lot of that practice, and you're learning a lot of stuff about the road and navigating and trip planning and how to deal with the computer. So that's the next step, out with your leader. When that's finished, they basically said 21 days is up, drop them at this terminal. And it wasn't my home terminal, so you could wind up anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
A couple more days of testing, backing maneuvers, road tests, a couple more computer lessons, you had
Modules,
to go through.
yeah.
And then you get your truck assignment. So then they say, okay, here's the keys to your truck, and now you know how to go out there and drive a truck and everything, so let's make some money. So you start getting loads, and away you go. Now you're a truck driver.
Ta-da!
And that was the path I took. And
Those are the steps.
it may be different for you, but that was basically step by step how it came to pass.
Yeah. So you can, create your version of those steps, but that gives you a pretty good idea of what you're looking at. And total time frame, if you choose one of those, most trucking schools tend to be 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Or if you choose one of those, within 2 months, you can be a trucker.
Yeah, I started the first day of February, and I got my truck assignment the middle of April. That's how long it took. And I did have a couple of days after school. Once I had my CDL, I took a few days off before I joined the company.
Yeah.
And that was just to get a couple of things done and be prepared, because I knew it was going to be a lot of running around after that.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, thanks for sharing those steps with us. So if you guys found value in our video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, questions and comments below. And as I said earlier, please subscribe to our channel. And that's it. With love from Kevin and Tanya. Bye.
Bye-bye.